Globalization is a process by which economies and cultures have been drawn deeper together and have become more interconnected through global networks of trade, capital flows, and the rapid spread of technology and global media. The share of global GDP accounted for by exports of services and goods have become rising from 12% in 1960 to almost 30% now. Hi, I am Kel, and today I am explaining to you the characteristics of globalization, advantages of globalization, and the effects of globalization in language use and communication. Characteristics of globalization. 1. Greater trade in goods and services both between nations and within regions. 2. An increase in transfers of capital, including the expansion of foreign direct investments or FDI by transnational companies or TNCs and the rising influence of sovereign wealth funds. 3. The development of global brands that serve markets in higher and lower income countries. 4. Spatial division of labor. For example, outsourcing and offshoring of production and support services as production supply chain has become more international. As an example, the iPhone is part of a complicated global supply chain. The product was conceived and designed in Silicon Valley. The software was enhanced by software engineers working in India. Most iPhones are assembled or manufactured in China and Taiwan by TNCs such as Foxconn. And lastly, high levels of labor migration within and between countries. Advantages of globalization. 1. Access to new cultures. 2. The spread of technology and innovation. 3. Lower cost of products. 4. Higher standards of living across the globe. 5. Access to new markets. And lastly, access to new talents. Globalization in language use and communication. Globalization is readily increasing in today's world. This increase in globalization has many effects on language use and communication, both positive and negative. These effects affect the culture of both language and communication in many ways. However, with globalization allowing languages and their cultures to spread and dominate on a global scale, it also leads to the extinction of other languages and cultures. Language contributes to the formation of culture, such as through vocabulary, greetings, and humor. Language is in a sense the substance of culture. Languages serve as important symbols of group belonging, enabling different groups of people to know what ethnic groups they belong to and what common heritages they share. Without a language, people would lose their cultural identity. Languages are essential mediums in which the ability to communicate across culture develops. Knowledge of one or several languages enables us to perceive new horizons, to think globally, and to increase our understanding of ourselves and of our neighbors. Languages are, then, the very lifeline of globalization. Without language, there would be no globalization, and vice versa. Without globalization, there would be no world languages to be used for communicating. The global language system is very much interconnected, linked by multilingual persons who hold a various linguistic group together. The hierarchical pattern of this connection closely corresponds to other dimensions of the world system, such as the global economy and a worldwide constellation of states. So far, so unsurprising, you might say. But globalization may well have a kind of revenge effect because as we gather and connect through one language, it tends to equalize values and desires. There's a distinct chance, I think, that it will actually undermine the position of the very native speaker who, such as Americans, by virtue of having a mastery of this obviously valuable language, thinks they are in a strong position. If we have a deep look inside us, we will come to the conclusion that art can be the bridge that can make compatible language, communication, and globalization. That's all. Thank you and God bless.